Part of the reason Austin is Austin today, in my view, is because the world went through some transitions. One of the big transitions was that changed about what sort of entity or place could actually hold economic power or economic health or economic wealth. The other big transition that occurred is what was the economic asset that became the holder of economic power. Of course, this plays out in different ways. Land, them that used to have the land, they had the economic power. Well, that shifted. It shifted so that it became industrial assets, manufacturing assets, and that's part of what we're dealing with worldwide now. But that even shifted. And what the shift then occurred was it became about imagination. It became about creativity. It became about innovation. What that meant was it became about people. The economic asset was people. And keep in mind, with that other transition I talked about, people could go anywhere they wanted to go. Places like, Austin, Texas. Places like Austin, we're the live music capital of the world. At the very same time, we were cultivating an economy based upon creativity. When Liz and I got to Austin, Texas in 1981, on any given Saturday night, I was in some bar or club watching music. The guy playing the bass guitar in that rock and roll band probably had an engineering degree from the University of Texas at Austin, but there weren't that many engineering jobs. But today, the folks with those engineering jobs, they still want that creativity, and so we were developing a creative economy. It's also no coincidence in my mind that we were creating an economy based upon intellectual capital. At the very same time, we were surrounded by great institutions of higher learning, including, of course, as I've already mentioned, the University of Texas at Austin. So we were able to create an economy and become a focal point in an innovative economy because we were also educating the workforce. It was no coincidence that we were aggressive and effective and still are in protecting our environment. At the very same time, people can go anywhere they want to go. And like I say, they're going to go where it's pretty. They're going to go where we're planning for what we're going to do with our water, what we're trying to do with our air quality, those sorts of things. Think of 1 million of them. In this room, I'll bet there's thousands of really weird ideas that could change the world because they're innovative. This is a town that has embraced that because we're open to it. So now what's that lead to the future? In my view, there are 3 big parts to that. Part number 1 is we have to, as a city, continue to be, and I use the word continue, to be biased toward action. We have to be willing to embrace the new and the new ideas, but we can't be paralyzed by fear of failure. We don't want to fail. We want to keep working. We want to keep doing the things that we need to do, but we can't be paralyzed by the fear of failure. We need to learn from that failure, or if it doesn't turn out exactly the way we want, and use that to do well the next time. We also can't fear and be paralyzed by the better idea coming along. And what I mean by that is so often what happens in innovation is it gets tied down because, I may have a good idea, but what if something better comes along? Or what if we move on this and we wish we had done something different? Well, we can't do that. We have to be willing to be biased toward action in this city, and we have to do it where we're thinking big. A good example of that is the medical school at the University of Texas at Austin. I remember being told when I started pushing to get a medical school at UT and playing the role that I was playing as a state senator, that medical school there, that people were saying, don't do that. Don't waste your time on that. We thought big and we moved. Second big thing that we need to do. The second thing we need to do is we need to be ready and embrace change. And here's what I mean by that. Austin, Texas has a really unique situation. We have the Fountain of Youth. The Fountain of Youth is that place we call the University of Texas at Austin. It's Houston-Tillotson, St. Ed's, Concordia, ACC. Every year, thousands of new people come to this town, young people with new thinking, new music, new culture, more diversity. And we need to embrace that and make it so that they can continue to live here. And that means what we need to do is we need to make sure that we stay affordable, we're protecting the environment, we're doing the kinds of things that make them want to be here so that they can stay here like we have. Austin is Austin because we embrace change. It's the number one part of being Austin in my view. So you ask me, what's the future of Austin, Texas when it comes to innovation? 2 words, Austin Unlimited. Thank you all very much.